Yogah Karmasu Kaushalam.
Mr. Gautam Vyas and me, we were discussing about bibliometric analysis using Vosviewer software in part 1. Continuing with the same session, with the same topic, I'll be going ahead. We'll be discussing more about how can we use Vosviewer. But before that, I want to show you a paper, a recent paper of 2020, which studied the impact of COVID-19. A very beautiful analysis, a very simple paper, but a very beautiful visual representation has been explained. So let me first go through that paper, and then we'll go, Mr. Gautam Vyas will join us, and then we'll go for understanding step-by-step process of using Vosviewer for bibliometric analysis. So here's the paper. Mr. Vyas, I think the paper is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah. So the title of the paper, and for the audience, for the viewers, let me make it very clear, legible. This is bibliometric analysis using Vosviewer of publications on COVID-19. So different publications. This is a recent study. So you won't find studies related to COVID-19 because it's started. We all are aware about how recent COVID-19 is. So bibliometric analysis using Vosviewer of publication on COVID-19. Mr. Vyas, could you please turn off the speakers for a while? Yeah. So the keywords, different keywords that were used for here is bibliometric analysis, novel coronavirus disease 2019, COVID-19, SARS, CoV-2, trends, and so on. Now, this is very important. Mr. Vyas, you can also give your inputs for this particular thing here. Totally 15,805 publications on topic COVID-19 were identified in Web of Science database between 1920. Generally, bibliometric analysis is carried out for a decade or 5 years or 8 years and so on. I have also seen bibliometric analysis for 50 years. 50 years data is included to carry out bibliometric analysis. But this only carries analysis of 2019-20, and now we are in year 2021. So out of 15,805 publications on topic COVID-19 were identified between 1920, which included 10,601 original research titles, 1189 review articles, 2296 editorials, and 1719 other forms of publications. Okay, so that include case reports and other things. Now, in all, 3,626 papers were indexed in Web of Science core database. So here, these researchers have used the Web of Science core database for further analysis. Let's go ahead. How does it look like? I'm more concerned about the output which is given by the web, Vosviewer. Let's go for it. Yes. So here, Mr. Vyas, we can see COVID-19, the terms COVID-19, and as you mentioned, as you explained in part 1, the cloud here, the node which is formed here, you call this entity COVID-19, that has this maximum linkages with other words, and the nearest linkage is related to SARS-CoV-9. You can see here SARS-CoV-9 receptors, inflammation, health, and then you have, if you see the the linkages of the words which are very far away, not very nearer to them, would be related to illness, fever, antigenicity, activation, and so on. Similarly,
so it is actually showing all the linkages as well as the number of occurrence. So we can see COVID-19 has occurred so many times in all the papers, but the other words which are having very small dots are
They are
not having that much occurrence in all this 15,000 plus publications.
correct. Now let me, yes. So now here, this is the bibliometric. This is again the bibliometric analysis where various journals are being cited. If you have your attention here, it is bibliometric analysis of the co-authorship. So let us find the co-authorship and the number of countries. Here the top 10 most active countries, organization and authors of COVID-19 publication. The topmost author was China with total 7,000 plus citations, and India had during that time 2020 only 128 publications and 79 citations were published. So this is how I was talking about the trends and the future trends, and it could give a curiosity to the future researchers whether I should venture with, whether I should go ahead with this research or not. So this is one more interesting finding. And then bibliometric analysis of bibliographic coupling and co-citation. That is also being shown here. And let us again go for viewing the data. Yes. So this is what Mr. Vyas was talking about here. Authors and co-authors linkages is being given. Here, country-wise association and the country-wise databases and the availability of researchers and how well the research on COVID-19 is shown, where you can see the People's Republic of China is in the center. So, Mr. Vyas, could you please interpret this diagram, this figure?
So, from the research paper, it looks like the number of papers, publication has been carried out in a particular country. So it's clearly explained how many researches has been conducted in People's Republic of China, whereas how less researches has been conducted into, let's say, Norway, Ireland, so including India. So we have carried out very less researches in terms of COVID-19 related disease or anywhere where COVID-19 term is being used. But China is doing extensive research, maybe in the medical terms only, but all the way how it is affecting the people's life, how it is affecting the industries, how maybe it is affecting the health. So everything has been researched there. So it shows a kind of a gap in many of the countries, okay, that how it has been impacted in our country. And
rightly said, Mr. Vyas. While going, see, most of the time after literature review, you go for the gap identification. So Mr. Vyas rightly said that you can identify the gap that this research has not been carried out in these countries based on this bibliometric representation. So this is a wonderful way of finding the gap even. Correct. And here's another graph which shows the universities, different universities included in the research. So here, obviously, because more research is carried out in China, you can find more Chinese universities and Chinese educational institutions marked in red color, and then other universities with less citations, they are far away, right, Mr. Gautam?
yes, sir, definitely. So it also shows the same thing, that in the red color, which is again representing a particular cluster.
Correct.
So that shows that China is dominating in this research as well.
Correct.
So and it shows a guidance to other universities or other countries that we can also carry out the same, because the culture is totally different, and that gives us a direction that if we use the same models or same thing in our country, then also the research is perfectly valid and it can guide us to a new result in terms of the cultural differences we are having.
Correct. So before I end showing this paper, sharing this paper with the audience, let's have a quick view of the paper. So these are the results, output, publications, bibliometric analysis of the keywords, citations of the publications with the keywords, citations, and occurrences, number of years, number of different journals which are included, followed with countries of publications where they are cited, and then some more discussion about the academic institutions and other things. And this is how the various analyses are being carried out just on one click of your mouse. Just with the help of Vosviewer, you can come out with different patterns, wonderful patterns, and with higher chances of publication. So this is one very good tool to begin with. So let me stop sharing this. And I just wanted to ask Mr. Gautam. Mr. Gautam, now once you learn about bibliometric analysis, we get attracted towards, let me try my hands-on. Let me try my hands and find out whether I can carry out bibliometric analysis or not. Because generally what we do, we go for literature review, we write it in a tabular format, then we try to cite the authors, their work, conclusion, their sample size, and finally we come out with gap. But then, if I want to begin with, how can I? Can you please tell me step by step? How can we go step by step for this bibliometric analysis? And how it will be helpful to me as a researcher?
So, sir, I personally feel that we can start with a simple literature search with a very simple terms being used. So let me share my screen and let us start. That if I am attracted, as I am in the e-learning department, and I am attracted towards how effective e-learning are, or what kind of changes e-learning is having, or what kind of effect on academics, or what kind of effect in education industry it is doing, then I have many very good databases. And one of the best database which was shown in the paper shared by you earlier, it is Web of Science, but of course it is not freely accessible to everyone. But one another good software or database available freely currently is Dimensions. So I will just start with this particular software to show that how can we extract data from this particular database on our research terms. So let's say my keyword search, my keyword for this is e-learning. So if, as we are typing in Google, we can also type in Google that Google Scholar that I need researches on e-learning in of a particular year. So I'm just finding title and abstract which is containing e-learning keyword, and I'm getting 38,128 publications here. I can, as e-learning, in e-learning, I should not take much of the old data. So I'm limiting my search till 2017 only. And it is still giving me 14,975 publications. Now, I can also, if I have some researchers in my mind, some good researchers, then I can do filter, or I can do filter in the field of research. Let's say I want to take education, specialist study, curriculum and pedagogy. We are just taking an example and limiting our research for the filtration, because if we take more data, we will get more output, of course, as the earlier research shown by Harishchandrasingh has taken into consideration 15,000 plus publications. So let's say we are taking 6,999 publications in our research. We can more short it down by general list also. If you want to just take UGC general list group 2 or UGC general list group 1 or DOAJ, then also we can restrict, but we are not currently doing so. Now let us try to export this data and export bibliometric mapping for Vosviewer. It can be downloaded from the export center. It will take some time because it is having around 14,000 plus data. So if you can see here, I had earlier searched many of the keywords, many of the things on the dimensions with specific generals. If you see this, constructivism and training in particular here in specific generals. So that kind of thing, if we do, then it will give us a specific results, and that will definitely help us in identifying the gaps, which is the first step while we do literature review.
So that first step, that you need to search by dimensions so that you get the highest or the highly cited journals or with the particular keywords. Am I right?
It will give all kind of results, sir.
Yes.
And from that we will take a specific document which, if it is very useful to us.
Correct.
So I am already showing you an example because I had already carried out this research. So when I was trying to learn the effect, then I had found one this article on the Science Direct, measuring e-learning system success in an organizational context, skill development and validation. So I found this particular article very useful for me because it is giving me a scale to measure the system success. So this time
research. So you would rather include this paper rather than other papers. It is better for you to include this paper and omit other papers, because you'll find a lot of papers related to e-learnings. So I think this will help you in omitting and including and excluding some of the papers for further research.
Yes, sir. As you rightly said, so I want this paper and similar papers to be used in my research.
Correct.
So let me search this particular paper on dimension, because I know I don't want this 15,000 plus result. I want papers which are directly linked with me. So we can say, if this paper has been cited by other researcher, then it may give me a proper.
It will give you a lot of confidence that yes, it's the most highly cited paper, and there are chances that whatever is associated with this paper, that is going to give you more validity. It's highly acceptable paper. People have referred to this paper. So
Yes.
it's going to give you a sense of confidence that you are using a good source. Am I right, Mr. Gautam?
Definitely, sir. So as we can see here, sir, this particular paper by Yi-Shung Wang has been cited by 281 times.
Correct.
And recently it has been cited by 67 times. It is an old paper. Since 2007 it is being cited, but recent in 2-3 years it is being cited by 67 times. So that means recently the researches has been carried out based on this particular thing. So if we click on this particular citations, we will get a kind of analysis. And if we click here on more details, then we are getting publication references and publications where this particular citation, this particular paper has been cited. Why I am showing this is because if this paper has been cited in 281 publications, maybe these 281 publications are related with my research or give me more brief idea. So what I can do, I can simply export this particular result, this particular 281 results for doing my bibliometric analysis to see.
Now we are going towards step 2. Now we are going towards step 2. We are exporting to Vosviewer, and let us explain the viewers that in which format this exported data will go. What is the extension of the file, and how does it?
Yes, sir. So in dimensions, it will be extracted in a .csv file.
.csv file, correct.
Yes. So comma delimited file, it will be there. But if we use Science Direct, as I had earlier shown, it will be a RIS file, which is a kind of a text format. So it depends on if you are using Web of Science, if you are using Scopus, if you are using Science Direct or Dimensions, the type of file will be different. But the Vosviewer is a software which allows us to analyze many different file types. So we need not to worry about a particular file type. So now let us start. So what we have taken here into consideration is a particular research paper has been cited by. So that will give us a co-citation and co-occurrence of a paper in a multiple
So
searches.
I would like to tell you, remember, Mr. Gautam has selected a paper where more number of people have cited. To be precise, 281 people had cited. So let us see how the result looks like.
So we are selecting bibliometric database as we are taking a specific dimension file. So we need not to go for RIS file. We are specifically choosing this file. And in the downloads, the last one which we have been taking. So here, co-authorship analysis we can do, as we have seen in that particular paper as well. How many co-authors were there? Citation analysis we can do, related of the items determined based on the number of times they cite each other. Bibliometric coupling we can do, which is related of item determined based on the number of references they share. Same number of references they share. Co-citation analysis, which will give a relatedness of items, is determined based on the number of times they are cited together. So it is 4 different kind of analysis we can do. If we do bibliometric, if we take co-citation.
Let us go for co-citation.
Okay, of a cited references.
We'll go for co-authorship first, Mr.
Let us go for co-authorship, sir. No issues. Co-authorship.
Correct. Yes.
As minimum number of document of author is kept on 5, which is very high. That's why it is only 4 is meeting us our threshold. But if we take just 2, minimum number of documents of a particular author should be only 2, then we around 71 links has been found.
Yes.
Papers, yes. So we are out of this, only 9 are interconnected, rest all are not connected.
Correct.
So that's why I'm keeping no, so taking all 71 into account. So we can see here, when we are clicking no and taking not linked articles also, then the result is very different.
Correct.
So this particular author group has been linked because their articles has been.
This means that this group of authors have some relationship.
Yes.
They might have written papers together. It might be in the past, or they have some connections. They might be from the same organization. They might be from the same city, or maybe there could be various inferences. Correct.
Yes, sir. And if you see on the base of link strength, there are many co-authorship between this Lee Chung Ying and Pek Amir. So the linkage will give how many times they are associated with. In the group of result which we have selected, it is specific to that only.
Correct.
As we have selected co-authorship, it has given us that result. Now let us select some other the same file we are selecting here. We are just changing. We are coming to citation of a document. Instead of co-authorship, we are taking the citation of a document. And minimum number of citation we are taking 5. And let's see the result. Only 93 meets the connected. So we are taking 93 into account, not all 51. And now let us see the graph. So here the paper by Lee. Okay, we can see the name here in the below screen. Authors are Lee Ming Chi, and the title of this particular paper is Explaining and Predicting Users' Continuous Intention Toward E-Learning. an extension of expectation confirmation model. So this particular paper has been cited by 529 times.
It's wonderful.
It has 14 links.
Yes.
So this shows that okay, maybe this paper is cited by so many times. So it is also published in Computer Education, which is a Scopus Listes General. So this will give more idea on our particular topic. So we can refer this particular article. And the beauty of this particular software and using dimensions database is that if we click on this particular paper, it will directly take us to the dimension site and show us the abstract of this particular paper. So we need not to wait and go again to the dimension and search. We can simply read its abstract here only, just by clicking it. So from this 281 thing which we have kept, if we find 5-6 papers like this paper by Mohammadi Hussain, investigating users' perspective on e-learning and integration of TAM and IS success model. If we find this relevant, we can simply get its abstract by clicking in Vosviewer only.
It's wonderful. So our third step would be to download these pictures because this would be downloaded as a JPG file, .jpeg file, or other files which supports the picture file, and then we can show it in the papers that within the text
yes,
the paper that you want to show. I guess that would be the first third step, Mr. Gautam.
Yes, sir. And we can also save this particular result as if we want to use it multiple times. What we can do is simply we can save this by giving a name. Let's say we have taken this from dimension paper based. Okay. So one map file will be saved and the same one network file will be saved. Two files will be needed when we want to directly open this. So we can save it, and after, let's say we have changed some map, so that will give a more idea that we can have a we'll do bibliographic coupling as well to see what kind of result bibliographic coupling is also showing.
Let us tell the viewers what exactly bibliographic coupling means. Exactly, what is coupling?
So, as it was shown while we are creating here, if we see bibliographic coupling analysis is the relatedness of item based on number of references they share.
Okay.
So generally we do not do this kind of a research while downloading the papers or analyzing the papers, that how many references has been shared by these two papers. Whatever papers we are downloading or whatever linkages we are finding, if they are using the same references, then the analysis of that will be called bibliographic coupling analysis.
Correct.
So here,
yeah, we'll be exporting this because that would be the third step. Now, what will do the fourth step, Mr. Gautam?
So we can simply save this data. We can analyze this as per our requirement, because the bibliographic coupling and co-citation will give kind of a similar result, because citations are the paper has been cited by a particular paper, the other paper has been cited in a different paper, whereas bibliographic coupling is the similar references has been used. So many of the similar results will be found, as we can see in here also in the same bibliographic coupling map. Again, this Lee 2010 paper has been here with a total link strength of 693.
Correct.
So, similar results can be found, which shows that the majority of the researchers are using the same references when they are doing research on e-learning. We should save this, as sir had mentioned, that we should save this file as a image file, as well as we should save this file as a network and data file, so we can open these files in future whenever needed. Like I had earlier explained, I had saved this file with this name, dimension paper-based map text and network file. I can simply open the same file if I had saved it. If I just forget to save this file, then again I need to follow the full process. I must keep the downloaded, exported files with me in a particular folder, then only I can have a same graph. So when we are doing analysis or presenting in a research paper, it is very important for us to keep a particular file which I had shared in a presentation. So saving this will help us in keeping our data.
So what are the concluding notes from you? Because this keeps on going, and this our viewers are just the beginners who would like to begin with. So what are your concluding notes, Mr. Gautam Vyas?
So my concluding notes are, sir, keep exploring this software for doing your literature search and literature reviews. This will help in systematically reviewing your literature and finding a particular game, and also finding a good combination or network between the papers you are keeping as your literatures. Over to you, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Vyas. Thank you so much for such a detailed explanation of how to use Vosviewer for the bibliometric analysis. Let me just share this and let me conclude this session. So though this tool looks very simple, here are some pictures of how the bibliometric analysis is being carried out. It looks simple, but this simple tool is quite effective in giving you some direction towards your future research. So this is, in very short, we can say, Kalbi, Aaj Bhi Kalbi. Bibliometric analysis using Vosviewer gives you what was there in the past, what is there in the present, and what's going to be in the future, giving you very definite direction of what and how you can go forward, what you can explore. Research is an ongoing process, it's a never-ending process, but software like this will definitely help you. So this is Dr. Harishchandrasingh Rathod signing off. I'm again thankful to UGC's HRDC and Dr. Jagdish Joshi sir for inviting me. I'm also very thankful to Mr. Gautam Vyas for assisting me during this session. Thank you so much. Namaste.